Anfield is a special place, but did you know, if previous plans had come to fruition, Liverpool might not even be playing their football at the famous old ground anymore. Thankfully, our stadium in L4 has been renovated and expanded, so over 60,000 people can attend. Here, however, we're going to see how Anfield could have looked if previous plans had been carried out. Neighbouring Stanley Park was the long-touted destination for a new ground, and there were various concepts that were made known before current owners FSG pushed forward with staying at Anfield. First off, we've got the Parry Bowl, as it was dubbed by supporters. This was drawn up in 2002 and was to be built nearly 300 metres away from Anfield in Stanley Park, with former Chief Executive Rick Parry fronting the project. It was originally designed to cater to 55,000 fans, with hopes to be ready for 2005, and it was still to be called Anfield. It just wasn't the same as the original Anfield though, and I think we can safely say that the newly renovated ground now is a better alternative to this Parry Bowl that would have held 55,000. Ultimately, funding would prove an almighty struggle and the plans would be left on the shelf for another to pick up. Next up, we've got Tom Hicks and George Gillette's big idea. The less said about them, the better. They were the ones to pick up the baton with grand plans in which they were all talk but failed to walk. The design for the 300 million, 60,000 capacity stadium, which was hoped to be extended to 75,000, was submitted in 2007 with a scheduled finish date of 2010. The big selling point of this stadium plan, which in fairness did look impressive, was the 18,000 seat single tier Kop. No matter how big the Kop though, you can't help but feel that this just looked like a giant spaceship in the middle of Stanley Park. You may remember the quote, "The spade has to be in the ground within 60 days. Spoiler, it wasn't. And although they would later just scratch the surface barely, this plan never came about. An abundance of excuses for the lack of movement on breaking ground would be made, and many soon wised up to what this ownership would entail. The plan was scrapped after a meeting between US architects, HKS and Liverpool City Council. Then came another redesign from Hicks and Gillette, who moved on to favour a scaled down version with the architects who drew up the first plan back in the early 2000s. This one draws similarities to the modern Wembley with the arch over the top. The new cost-effective plans would receive council approval, but the fans were not easily sold as delay after delay made the images appear a pipe dream rather than a tangible reality. And they would be right. Further delays and excuses would follow, and soon enough the club would be in disrepair as the Americans looked destined to tear Liverpool apart. The Reds would have to wait until FSG arrived to take the first significant steps forward, with a move to Stanley Park flirted with before focus shifted to expanding Anfield. And despite the long wait, the redevelopment has proved a big success. First, the main stand grew Liverpool's capacity before the Anfield Road end has taken Liverpool beyond 60,000. This now is how Anfield looks in 2024. The best plan of them all.